Oh my good God. We're back again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to season 23-24 to the Red and Blue Review. We will be here post most games this season. This is a little preview show from what's gone on over the summer and what we expect is going to happen at the start of the season. I will shortly be joined by the usual crew, the Motley crew. They're all here. Let's kick off with him first. I think we better add my wingman, as always. He's still here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Sir Jill Holyoke. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Yourself?
Like you don't already know. Like you hadn't spent most of the bloody day over here anyway. So we were just saying pre-show how many years you've been doing this now. You used to have hair, didn't you?
Well, I was thin. I know that.
It wasn't that long ago. Great to see you, mate. Also, welcome back. The other wingman is Ian Noble. Nobley, nice to see you, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. Good evening, Nick. Good evening, everybody. Good to be back, isn't it? Can't wait. Season is just a few days away. So excited.
I was going to sit here in the England cricket hat because it's still, in my mind, it's August. It's still the cricket season. But I thought, Ferg, you're on mute, mate. And Teresa, you're on mute. I hope you're well, buddy. How's the family?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Nick. Hi, everybody. Good to be back. Looking forward
to here for the whole season, yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you'll have me. Yeah.
Shall we have him, boys and girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's our angel in disguise, the NHS's finest, Teresa Baker. Lovely to have you here, darling. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Nick. I'm so excited for the start of the season. I've really missed everyone. Missed everyone down the pauses, missed everyone at the cherry tree, and missed everyone in my seats around me. Can't wait to get back in the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to touch on the ground in a minute, actually, because I wasn't there for the friendly against Leon, but I know the guys were. Teresa, how's your flatmate? Is he all right? Has he got over the shock of Dirty Lee's going down? And can he hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, can he hear me?
No, he's out playing poker tonight. Yeah, he's over it. He just realizes that his whole team is going to be stripped soon. I'd love it if we got Jimmy Somerville and Willie Nonto would be brilliant signings for us. He keeps telling me to F off, but
no, but I think Somerville would be a cracking signing. Yeah, I think it'd be a good signing. Be a good signing up. Well, give him our best from Red and Blue Review and tell him we'll wave down to them down in the championship. I shouldn't laugh too much. Listen, I can already see so many of you, old faces, new faces, and the rest. Good evening to everybody out on Facebook land and YouTube land. John, I can see you out there. Gary, Rob Donovan, Paul Holden, yo, the real panels out there. Paul Bristol, I knew you'd be there. Yaz, I hope you're well. Yaz, are you coming on Saturday? Because if you are, I'll see you there. I look forward to seeing you. Daniel,
you'll be there.
I'm definitely going to see you on Saturday, mate. That's for sure. Try and make it sober this time, just as a change. There's a good lad. Dan's out there. Daniel, the guy that stands right in front of me, normally end up spitting over when we score or something like that. He's out there. George, I can see you. Andy Stacey, Andy Bess, and each and every one of you, wherever you're watching in the world, whether you're catching up on a podcast on Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whatever it is, welcome to the Red and Blue Review. We're going to do everything that we've done for years and years and years now. We're going to be doing it right the way through the 23-24 season. So where should we kick off? Anybody got a suggestion where we're going to kick off? I'm just going to do this one first. Ian, just keep your powder dry just for a second, because I just want to touch base on the saddest news that came out of Selhurst Park over the summer. It was announced the passing of former Crystal Palace manager Trevor Francis at the age of 69, 19th of April 1954 to 24th of July 2023. I didn't realise he shared the same birthday as me, actually. Francis took charge of Palace on the 30th of November 2001. His highlights with us included the famous FA Cup success at Anfield and the 5-goal victory over Brighton Hove Albion. Before he departed on the 18th of April 2003. His record for Palace, he was in charge for 78 games, 28 of which were wins, 22 draws and 28 defeats. Rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace. Ian, you were about to say something before I just cut you off in mid-breath. What were you going to say, mate?
No, you asked if anyone wanted to say anything, and as Azza's comment went past saying Nobby finally remembered he had a current top on, but I blame you, Azza, because the only reason I've got this is that you made me buy it on the last game of last season. So don't give me that, all right? Listening in. See you Saturday.
Lee, I can see your question. How was my holiday? Yeah, you're right. Thank you for bringing it up, Lee, because I do notice on the screen that I am looking the best out of the 4 other reprobates. I'm the only one with a suntan. The others all look pale. They all look as though they need a holiday. What have you been doing in the summer, you lot?
Trying not to get skin cancer.
Oh, thanks for that.
That's cheery.
There's nothing right starting the season off on a high note, is there? Bloody hell. Right. Okay, so I don't mind where we start. Give us Ian, you go first. Your thoughts on what's happened over the summer. Start off with Roy Hodgson, please.
Yeah, listen, it's been a typical Palace roller coaster summer so far, hasn't it? You know, first of all, we didn't have a manager for ages, and then Roy Hodgson is appointed for another year. Which some of us saw coming. I think most of us at the time weren't too sure about it. You know, for me, I was thinking at the time it's probably delaying the inevitable because we've got to find a new manager at some point. Roy can't go on forever. But, you know, take nothing away from the last 10 games of last season when we won 5, drew 3 and lost 2. I think those were the correct figures. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, that was a great finish to the season. He did a brilliant job coming in for Patrick Vieira. And frankly, you know, I can understand why Steve Parish appointed him for another year because, you know, he is a safe pair of hands. The players had nothing but good things to say about him when they were interviewed, for sure. You know, Eberechi Eze is becoming quickly in this close season our talisman. And he was very positive about Roy and Ray Lewington. So, you know, that's the first thing. You know, Roy's here for another year. Get behind Roy. And I'm sure he's going to do a good job for us. Well, let's hope he is. Joe wanted to come in, I think.
Yeah, hang on. Joe, I'm just coming to you now because I want to talk to you about Roy. Can you guys do me a favour this year, please? Okay, because there is one expression they used to use about Zaha, and we will come to Zaha later, is the word talisman. God, I mean, they flogged it to death with Wilfried Zaha. He was our talisman since the age of about 4. It's just a god-awful... Go on, Ian.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Look, I think you've got to look at how a player contributes to a side. And that's why he's given the name talisman, Wilf, because he was our standout player for so long. I think in the last couple of seasons, he became less so as we brought other quality players in the last 2 years. But if you've watched us pre-season, without Eberechi Eze, we would look absolutely lost. He had everything goes through him. Every free kick, every corner, he's on it. You know, his stats pre-season are fantastic. If we'll come on and talk about FPL later. But you know, all the FPL podcasts are talking about Eze 6.5 mid. You know, go and buy him for your FPL team. You know, so he has been absolutely our talisman. I can't think of a better word actually for him pre-season.
Brad, I can see your commenters on the screen. Best wishes to ex-chairman Simon Jordan for a speedy recovery. Can somebody explain to me what that is? Because
Simon Jordan has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Wow.
I did know that. Yeah,
he's had the operation and it was a success. So he's in recovery at the moment, but he was back on TalkSport today.
I didn't know his trees are jumping.
Yeah, can I do my NHS thing now? Because, right, boys, all it takes is a blood test. Get to your GP. For those of you that are over 50 or anyone that's having any kind of symptoms, it's a blood test. It's not a finger up your bottom. All you need is a blood test. Do it.
And I've had it done very recently, guys. Okay, very, very recently. There's nothing to it. If in doubt, get the jab. Okay, Jill, about 15 minutes ago, you had your hand up and we were talking about Roy. Roy coming back. Your thoughts on Roy Hodgson's return, please?
Well, I didn't really want to talk about Roy because I think everything's been said. Right. I didn't know if you've got anything written down, if you've got a show written down. But I mean, Ian turned around and referred to him as a safe pair of hands. And it's a sort of safe pair of hands that I would like to talk about. because our safe pair of hands doesn't want to play for us anymore.
Wow,
And
that's what I call a segue. That's what I call a segue.
And that's really pissed me off, because I've always been, and I don't care who it is, even to the point where Wilf didn't want to play for us. You know, it's proven, because I don't think he's getting the same money where he is now as what we offered him. But what's done is done. But I'm a firm believer in absolutely every walk of life, everything in my life. If someone doesn't want to be around me, or I don't want them around me, I'll be gone, or they'll be gone, one or the other. And if Guaita wants to go, then I'm not going to say he deserves to, because he gets paid handsomely. But, you know, he'll be number 6 of the senior squad that's gone. A player that played week in, week out. I personally think he's had his nose put out of joint. I think he won't stay and fight for his place for the remainder of a contract. Like I said, he gets paid a lot of money. He's earned a lot of money so far. But if he doesn't want to be here, then I think we need to chuck. I'm hoping the club has chucked him in the shop window. There was rumours of another keeper coming in, and I thought that was a bit strange. As number 1 as well, over Sam Johnston, because, you know, as with a couple of players, I thought, you know, I'll go off thing quickly. Mateta, I was sure that I read a thanks very much for everything, guys, for supporting me, this, that, and the other at the end of the season. And I never expected to see him back in a Palace shirt. I honestly did. I thought he'd gone, or he was going. But yeah, and Guaita's been, you know, if you really want to go, you get vocal about it. That's what happens now with football. They get all leery and stick something on Insta or Twitter and go, the club won't let me leave, I don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. It forces the hand of the club. So I'm a little bit confused, as he's missed a whole pre-season, and all of a sudden he, you know, Roy is almost forced now. I think he's had his hand forced. Someone's obviously said, where's Vicenza? And he's gone, well, yeah, you don't want to play for us no more. So talk that out, you lot.
Right, okay. I'm coming straight to you on that interview that was released today from Norwegian TV. He made it quite clear that Sam Johnson is our number 1 and Remy Matthews is our number 2, and Guaita will not feature until he's sold. And you're right. I think it was Getafe we were looking at a keeper. They obviously knew it there and then. Guaita was going to go. Ian, over to you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So this story's broken because it was an interview that Roy Hodgson did today for Norwegian television. Real panel, my mate Paul, you're spot on, mate. Thought better of Guaita. Fine, say you want to leave, but stay professional. Okay, so I'm very disappointed in Vicente Guaita. I think we all are, in as much as if he's not the number 1 choice as the goalkeeper, then he needs to get his head down, work hard, train hard. If he still wants away, puts his request in, that's fine. That's what he should do. But he shouldn't just say, I'm not playing, I'm not training. It's poor in my book, really poor. And I think his stock's gone down. You know, everyone liked him. You know, he was one of these players who responded to fans' tweets and that kind of stuff. But don't let that fool you. You know, this is disappointing stuff for me, for Guaita.
Joe,
I'm really disappointed in him, because, I mean, everybody knows now we've got a 25-man first-team squad, which means that we should have at least 2 players. Most clubs have at least 2 players in every position, and we have 2 players in most positions. I mean, I don't see Waldy. He's been there 10 years. And go, you know, when Klein comes in, going, well, you know, I've got the hump about this. I think I'll be off. I'm amazed that out of all the years that he's been here, and he has been very, very professional. And like you say, he does bounce off of the social media vibe. But I have a feeling sooner or later that, you know, for whatever reason, if it is literally that he doesn't want to play for his place, then people will. Well, I think they will turn against him. He's like, you know, he's been a very good goalkeeper for us, but he's not Speroni. You know, he's not worshipped like Speroni. That would have come, but just with a bit of loyalty. But you know, circumstances change, feelings change, the whole situations change. And if he feels that he ain't up for the fight to fight for his place and to fight for his club, or listen, it might be that he's using that as an excuse, and his missus has just gone, do you know what? Can't do South London anymore. I want to go back to Spain. I can't do the rain. I can't do the tediousness of whatever. Let's go. And everyone knows, there's only one person that rules the roost in the house.
There's the woman. Teresa, last word on Guaita from you. Then I want to move on to something else.
Yeah, from what I've heard, he's homesick and he wants to go back. It's nothing to do about loyalty. He's homesick. Having been an expat before, I kind of get where he's coming from. I don't think it's due to loyalty, but I am of the opinion if he's not training with her or refusing because he wants to transfer, then don't pay him.
Thank you, love. Okay, right. Another announcement from the club this week, or actually not from the club, from the ex-player himself. James MacArthur announces his retirement. He announced the other day that he was retired from playing professional football. The midfielder departed Crystal Palace in the summer after 9 years of exemplary service. The Scotland international represented the club with distinction between 2014 and May 2023, making 253 appearances in all competitions in the Palace shirt, playing over 19,000 minutes and scoring 19 times. MacArthur was a huge favourite in SE25 for his industrious work ethic, uncompromising standards and ability on and off the ball. And I didn't realise he'd been capped for Scotland so many times. Ferg, your thoughts on MacArthur hanging up his boots?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I think he was really struggling, wasn't he, last season with that injury he was carrying. I think it was his hip, wasn't it? He was having real trouble with it. But using that word, Wilfred Zaha, a talisman, he was another talisman in the team. He was one of those players that everybody else in the club looked up to. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck in whatever he's going to do. I don't think he's not announced what he's going to do yet, is he? But if he's thinking about going into coaching, then Palace definitely need to snap him up.
Well, whatever he does, Jimmy Mack, if you're getting to see this podcast, I'm telling you now, you haven't responded to my tweet inviting you onto the Red and Blue review, and we're going to be. If you come and join us, we're going to be surrounded by jocks with Big Jim Cannon, who will be featuring all season, ladies and gentlemen. He's not. Go on, Jane. Go on, Jill.
Don't you know where he lives? Haven't you not delivered curry to his house?
Yeah. No.
Knock on the door.
I know exactly.
This is what I said to you about Steve Coppell. You met Steve Coppell 3 or 4 times before he came on our show. And it was only your missus that went, right, get over there and talk to him. And when you got to talk to him, I think if you spoke to Macca before whatever he decides to do next, I think he'll come on.
Well, I have tweeted him.
Can I just have my say on him? For me, he's been an absolute hero of mine. And I've said many, many times over the years that I think that guy actually changed the way that we passed, not just played football, the way that we passed the football. Very, very rarely after he came to us, you remember the ball used to go across the middle, they were under it, got intercepted by the opposition midfield, and we were overrun and conceded so many goals. The way that guy, where my season tickets were, it was right in line with the almost the line just inside the halfway line where he used to patrol all the time, and the way that he hit the ball at you, he made you a better one-touch footballer by the way he hit the ball. He forcibly banged the ball at you and expected of you every time for you to be able to control that. And I think it took a season or two for some of our players to up their game. But I thought just the way that he changed the effort, just everything about Jimmy Mack is what kids people should aspire to be. I mean, there are people that we've had play for our club, but in all honesty, I can't say that he's not one of the people that I think may have put the most effort over 9 seasons. I mean, that guy is, and again, I've said it on this show, there are times where people have said, I would put him, it would have been the first name, if he was fit, he would have been the first name on a team sheet for me. He gave absolutely everything. And I never, ever came away from watching him thinking that A, that he'd let us down, or B, that he'd left anything out there.
Ian, I'm coming to you on your thoughts on the Macca hanging up his boots and I just want to read a couple of messages from the chat. Andrew Adams says Macca is a true professional, dedicated to his trade. Graham says he's a true servant to the club and he will be missed. Andrew Adams then said if Macca and Big Jim were on the show, we probably need subtitles. Ian, what are your thoughts on Macca hanging up his boots, mate?
Yeah, I haven't got an awful lot more to add to what Gerald's just said there. I think, one thing I would add is that, I can't ever recall him having a bad game. Often you remember a player having a bad game, and you'd include Wilfred Zaha in that as well. But I never remember Jimmy McCarthy having a bad game. Never. Jimmy McCarthy.
Ian, didn't you convince Julian Speroni to come on the show as well?
Yeah. I was going to keep my powder dry on that one, actually. But thanks.
Sorry, Ian.
I haven't spoken to Julian since Nick and I met him in the close season, but we were at an event with Julian, and I did ask him if he'd come on the show. I did ask him publicly in front of about 150 people, and he nodded and says, yes, why not? That would be nice. And then we had a little chat with him afterwards, and he said he would. But one thing is he is under contract to the club, so whether that's allowed or not, I don't know. I know Jim works in the lounges, but I've got his telephone number in my mobile, and I will be giving Julian a ring in the next few days or so. And I will also be giving John Solako another ring. I know a few of us know John, but he did say to me last time I spoke to him that he was.
Do you reckon we could pad out a show by name dropping Jim Cannon, Jimmy McCarthy, Julian Speroni, Steve Copple, Marina Speroni. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't get this sort of name dropping on any other Palace podcast. Whenever you watch them or listen to them, in actual fact, it was talking about other Palace podcasts. Dan said on HLTCO the other day that a Wigan friend of his, when we signed him from Wigan, go back to Macca, that he wasn't a box-to-box midfielder, and he never was. He was a baseline-to-baseline midfielder, and he had the engine to go with it. So I for one, echo everything you guys have just said about Jimmy. I hope you have a long and illustrious retirement, my old mate, and thank you for everything you've done for Crystal Palace Football Club. We also welcomed earlier in the transfer window, and I thought, bloody hell, we're coming out of the blocks here for our transfer window, aren't we? Jefferson Lerma joined the squad on the 1st of July. The 28-year-old Colombian international signed a 3-year contract after he'd been released by Bournemouth. Lerma joined Bournemouth from Levante in 2018 for a club record fee and soon became a firm fans' favourite during the 5 seasons, 184 appearances for the Cherries. Now, that would have been such a great first meeting. Can you imagine the meeting between him and Anderson when they first met at the training ground? I mean, did you all see his welcome video? I thought it was a very good welcome video. Teresa, did you see it?
Yeah, I did actually.
And it was, I actually thought it was a classy, one of the better ones that we've done. I mean, I think it's now becoming a standard that all the clubs are trying to outdo each other on the welcome videos and all the rest.
Well, I think we're winning that at the moment, aren't we?
Shall we do it now? Okay. On Saturday, the club announced the arrival of Mateus França. It's not Franca. And if you listen to that idiot when Palace were playing Lyon on Saturday, when he was introduced at half time, his name is Franca, but with a little squiggle under the C. Okay, makes that an S. Okay, it's França, not Franca. And the commentator, the Crystal Palace Football Club commentator, kept calling him França. It's Franca. Okay, and
no, you just said it the wrong way around there.
Sorry, it's França, not Franca.
In fact, it's more Franceur.
Yeah.
Think of SIR at the end, and you.
And apparently, we've signed him on a 5-year deal from Flamingo, subject to international clearance. He is. I know. We're coming on to that in a minute. He is renowned for his flair, physicality, high work rate, and tenacious mentality. The 19-year-old is widely considered one of the most exciting players in Brazil and indeed world football. Mateus is Palace's second senior signing of the summer. However, he is injured, in case you didn't know, Jill.
I can't remember his name at the moment, but I'm sure one of you guys. Didn't we buy a similar player from Spain? Wasn't he supposed to be the next? Who is he? The tiny little fella we bought. I'm sure his name begins with M. But we bought someone and he stayed with us for a year and then just disappeared off into
remember.
the ether. He was supposed to be
you're
the
thinking of Max Meyer, the German, are you?
A German
no.
one.
It was a Spaniard. We were supposed to have bought the new one of the best teenagers in Spain. Sure, we got him from
Jose Campa.
Campagna.
That's it. Yeah, wasn't it? He was supposed to be the same, wasn't he?
Thanks, Aaron.
And he didn't do it. So, but yeah, I mean, he's got França, whatever his name is. He's or however you pronounce his name. Sorry. Yeah. So he's got some big boots to fill. So yeah, pressure. I'm not going to say there's no pressure, but there's every bit of pressure.
Absolutely, there is.
I know the Yeah,
sorry, Teresa.
We weren't the only club after França, by the way.
Who else?
Well, I heard that Arsenal had looked at him, Newcastle had looked at him, and I heard that he chose to come to Palace.
Chelsea as well. Chelsea
yeah. Chelsea were the club that he got closest to.
So regardless, he's a good lad, whatever.
Because he wanted to come and work under Roy, and you're quite right. Ferg, you were going to say something, mate?
No, I was just going to say, like, I know these YouTube videos that they make these players look superhuman, but you know, I've watched quite a few of them, and he does look like a very, very good signing. He's, you know, he can score with both feet. He's powerful. He's fast. You know, it's everything you want in a player, like a dynamic midfield player. So, yeah, I'm kind of hoping that he, the fact that he's got something written into his contract, you know, if he wins the Ballon d'Or. You know, they obviously think really, really highly of him. It is. It might be tongue in cheek, but you just never know.
Okay, right. I actually had a closer look at this. Okay, that Ballon d'Or subject is something that's actually grinding my gears a little bit. Okay, clearly and obviously, it's nothing to do with Palace. Not when Palace win he stays with Palace and wins the Ballon d'Or. It's nothing to do with that. Do you know that obviously he's using South East London as eventually a stepping stone if he's as good as they make it out, and he will go on to a bigger Premier League team, and then indeed he may even go on to Real Madrid, Barcelona, or something like that. Okay, one of the German teams, whatever. Do you realise that bloody clause in his contract is nothing to do with Palace? It's wherever he's playing in the world at that time, and it's not just if he wins the Ballon d'Or, if he gets nominated for the Ballon d'Or any time during his career, we still have to stump up that money. How ridiculous is that, Jill?
You should keep touching on Newcastle, so I might as well have my my tuppence about them. From what I can work out, they don't have, and this is according to their manager, they don't have the money this season to start going out and splashing big. I think FFP is a gradual thing, and I think we value Anderson around, well, at least 50 million. I think they're the only team that have shown an interest in him. Gay is a different matter, but then Spurs won't give us what we want for him, nor will Arsenal, because they don't have the money either. So the only people that can really afford Gay is probably Chelsea, and they'll have some kind of, whatever, cheaper deal. But so I can't see Anderson going. It wouldn't surprise me if already that there's no smoke without fire, but whether Elise may have signed something with Chelsea, much the same as the fella at PSG, Mbappe, has done with Real Madrid, some sort of little, stay with us for another year. So I've got a feeling that we will be keeping Elise for at least this year. Hopefully we can renegotiate. And then we can get a much better deal, Ian.
Yeah, Ed Aarons, who's a football writing authority with The Guardian, has tweeted today that there are added additions to the Elise contract. One is that it's a bit more than 35 million. I don't know how much more, 2 or 3 million more. But secondly, the player himself can decline the move, even if a club comes in and matches the amount within the contract, the clause rather. So it makes sense to me that, because, you know, why should a player just move clubs just because a big club like Chelsea or Manchester City can come in and said, here's 37 million Crystal Palace, we want Elise. If the player doesn't want to go and play for that club, they need to have a say in it. So that is in the contract. So Michael Elise, obviously he's advised by his advisors, Michael Elise can say, look, I don't care, Chelsea, you've had for 37 million for me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here at Palace. And I think Michael Elise, once he gets over this injury, will want to play regular football. You know, if you're Michael Elise and you're in the French under-21 team, you're probably knocking on the door of the full national side. You know, you want to play football every week in, week out in the Premier League. He does not want to go and sit on Chelsea's bench or Man City's bench, does he? And if you look at Man City, blimey, they absolutely don't need him. I tweeted this at the weekend when the boy came off the bench and scored their winner. He plays on the right wing as cover. They don't need Elise, and Chelsea have got so many players as well. So I think Michael Elise would be well advised to stay where he is for at least another season.
Teresa, I'm just coming to you now. We were talking about superstars a minute ago and people we've had on the show and people we're actually involved in. You'll see on the screen, there's a guy scrolling through at the moment called Ian Griffiths. Griff, good evening, big man. I hope you're well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Griff very quickly, because he is a massive Crystal Palace supporter. I've known him all my life since secondary school. Griff has now gone, he's been a drummer in various bands and everything else. He now actually has his own radio show. It's a online digital radio show called 365 Radio. Not only does he have the radio show, he has the plum spot of the drive time show between 5 and 7 p.m. And yours truly will be appearing on Griff's 365 radio show in the next couple of weeks. Griff, I can't wait to see you, mate. And congratulations on all your success, and well done, and carry on doing what you do. And I know you love your Crystal Palace. So I'm really, really proud of you, big fella. Right. Okay. So, Teresa, you wanted to talk about continue the Elise thing?
Yeah, there's just quite a few comments on the Facebook page about it. Joan Wells says that Chelsea are being investigated anyway.
Yep, she's right.
Andy Adams, how can clubs negotiate wages with the player's agent before putting a bid into his parent club? Surely that's tapping the player up. Yeah, absolutely right.
And I agree.
Apparently Chelsea want to play him in a centre midfield. That's what he's unsure about. That's Colin Waterman. Thanks, Colin, for your comment. And Andy Andrews, with Chelsea being investigated for financial payments, why would you want to go to a dodgy club? I just thought I'd get those comments out there because that's what's being said.
Listen, this is a fully interactive show. We do what we do, and we can't do it without the public. So people commenting on everything you guys are talking about, that's what we do. And if you're new to us, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, that's what the Red and Blue Review is all about. Jill.
Man City have been investigated for 4 years so far. So the financial fair play investigations. So when it comes to the Premier League, it gets brushed aside like everything with huge money in this country. Everything gets brushed aside. The only time that City and Chelsea will get penalised properly is by FIFA or UEFA, not FIFA, UEFA, and they have done, haven't they? I think they did Man City for a few million, but yeah, I mean, this country, we're so soft on anything, and the Premier League has absolutely zero balls when it comes to it. Like the Championship, the EFL and stuff like that, EFL, the Championship and the lower leagues. I mean, they get absolutely stamped on if they do anything wrong. As has been proved with some of the bigger teams that are really in financial trouble now after being deducted points. But nothing will ever happen to Chelsea. The top six, nothing will ever happen to the top six, because they just have so much influence and money that they just could just threaten to walk away, and it is what it is.
You can add Forest and Everton to that list of being
Correct.
investigated, and I think Wolves probably aren't far away from it either. So there's a host of teams in the
But
Premier
you can
League.
guarantee, you can almost guarantee that Forest Wolves SL will get investigated and punished. Oh, well, I mean, so what's that's been going on for 1 year? They've only been up one season and spent all that money. So, but you can guarantee that the Forest thing, if they go after Forest, that'll be sorted out 2, 3, 4, 5 years ahead of anything that we see.
Well, those clubs haven't got the money to tie out the lawyers, have they? Like City and Newcastle.
Well, they have, because they're all owned by billionaires. I mean, you know, but Bournemouth's owned by a billionaire. Everyone's owned by a billionaire now. Billionaires have lawyers. It's just that's part of on their remit. They have a lawyer to deal with everything in their lives, and those lawyers will then go through their, you know, through whatever into sports and stuff like that, just to tie it all up. It doesn't matter to us, is it? It's still going to be. They're not employing QCs to fight for them. They're just going to cite silly laws, which is why it's taken 4 years for the Premier League to go after City. But they'll never do anything about it. They will never do anything about it.
We need to move on, boys. We need to move on. Right, listen, before we go any further, okay, ladies and gentlemen, as there's quite a few of you watching this, and I know there's going to be loads of you listening to the podcast when we release it, 23-24, we are, the Red and Blue Review, are looking for a sponsor. Now, would you like to be sitting right here over my shoulder for the entire season? Whichever company, small business, any private benefactor, I don't care who you are. If you want to be considered, we'll be covering all 38 Premier League games, and plus obviously any cup games. So that'll probably be 2, I would guess. One in the League Cup and one in the FA Cup. So if you fancy being our sponsor, look at what Ferg's got behind him. You'll have something like that made up for you over my shoulder for the whole season. You'll also have little runners going across the bottom of the screen, mentioning your business. So we don't want big money. We're not looking for a massive amount of money. Please, please, please contact myself, Ian Noble, Nigel Croucher, or Lucy Usher, and we'll be happily to. Ian Lyons has just popped up. Maybe you want to sponsor us because we know you're loaded. So come and join us and be our sponsor for the 23-24 season. We'd dearly love to have you as our sponsor this season. Thank you very much in advance. Right.
Nick Lindsay says, if we get a parrot sponsoring the show to sit on Nick's shoulder, he'll wear a pirate's outfit.
Mate, I'll wear whatever you like. If the money's right, you should know that. I don't care. Right, okay. Ian, I'm actually going to dump on you in a second, if you don't mind, because I would like you, if you'd be so kind, I need to go and get a drink, you see, because I'm drying up here, about the Zaha move to wherever he went, Galatasaray. Zaha's message to the fan base, which Nigel's got for you. Listen, before I do depart and mute my mic, we've watched this boy come up as a man and boy, come into what we can only class now as a superhero. Been with us since 8 years old. He owes us nothing. He owes us absolutely nothing. Teresa's already disappeared somewhere. There is nothing I can add to what's already been said by the fan base. However, I have my own personal thoughts on what happened this summer, the way he strung it out. Therefore, we've only now signed 2 players, and one of those is injured. Okay, is it because Zaha kept us hanging on tenterhooks? Are we going to be paying him £200,000 a week? Who knows? But Ian, your thoughts, and guys, join him on the Zaha goodbye statement.
Nick, off you go. Go away. Right. So, yeah, thanks for that, Nick. Wilf leaving. I was, in the end, I was a bit surprised because it went on for so long. I thought the longer this goes on, he's more likely to stay. I'm not going to read all that out. There's the statement to Palace fans, and all of you watching this, I'm sure, have already read what he said. At least he did publish this after he'd made the announcement that he was leaving for Turkey, which is fine. You know, you would expect nothing less of him. But I just think it was a shame the way it was strung out. I just believe that it was probably the fact that he didn't have that offer on the table until a little bit later on in the close season. And therefore, that's what delayed matters. and he was still keeping his powder dry in as much that, we had that offer to him, 200,000 a week over 4 years. That was an amazing offer we made him. And in all probability, and I think everyone knows this already, is that he's getting less money in Turkey, less of a deal in Turkey than he would have if he'd stayed with us. As I said, my mate, as I said, Zaha leaving was inevitable. Some fans truly believe he was going to re-sign another contract. The way he left, in his opinion, was unbelievable. It's a shame we didn't say goodbye to him properly. I think, that Forest game, if he'd announced he was leaving, and that was that, when, he didn't play in that, obviously he was injured. But if he'd been, it would have been nice if he'd taken the microphone in the middle of that pitch after the Forest game and said, "Thank you, Crystal Palace fans, for everything. I am moving to Turkey." That would have been the best way of dealing with it, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? Let's come to Teresa first, if I may.
I completely agree, Ian. I actually thought with him buying into AFC, Croydon AFC with Stormzy, I put it on a group chat, didn't I? I was convinced that he was going to stay. And to see him go to Galatasaray, is it a right move? Well, he's got a Champions League go today, but you know what? It'd be so Palace, wouldn't it? That we get into Champions League this season. I'm always the optimist, but it would be so Palace.
Your glass is more half full than mine, but there we are. Yeah,
why not?
It would be, wouldn't it? Ferg, what were your thoughts about Wilf leaving? Do you think it was well done the way he did it, or would you like to have seen him do something different?
Well, I honestly believe when he walked around for the last game of the season that in his head he was going to sign and he was going to stay. Whatever's changed from that day to now, I don't know. But I think it was probably, I'm gutted he's gone, but I think it was probably the right time for him to go. Because I think, with Elise and Eze coming through, I don't think he wasn't the talisman that he used to be. I think he could see, the end. And I think he just decided, right, I'll see what else is out there. There wasn't a lot. Galatasaray, I don't understand why he's gone there. I know his best mate, Yannick Bolassi's out there, so he might have had some influence on that's why he went to Turkey. I don't know. And obviously he's got Champions League, although they have to qualify for it. I don't know if they have qualified.
Is Bolassi still there? I didn't realise it. I didn't know that.
I think he is.
Yeah, we looked it up on Saturday, didn't we, Ferg?
Yes, we did.
I googled him on Saturday. Yannick Bolassi is playing for a Turkish club. Don't ask me which one, but it's in the top league in Turkey.
So gutted he's gone, but I think we need to move on. And I was going to say, about just on a positive note for the team, because there's been quite a lot of negative talk around pre-season and players that we have or haven't signed. But if you look at our squad now, I think in 2020-21, we had one player under the age of 25 playing in the squad. We've now got 5. We've got Elise, Guy, Mitchell, Decore, Eze. If Chris Richards starts playing, I don't know if he's going to get in the side or not. But we've got that youth element back in the side. If we sign Lewis Hall, was he 18, 19? So we've got a young, fit side. We've got a spine to the team now. You've got Johnson in goal. You've got Guy and Anderson in defence. You've got Lerma and Decore in midfield. You've got Eze and Elise on the wings. Okay, you could argue we probably need somebody up front, a really, really good striker, but we are not far away from having a really good side. And I actually think the Premier League this year, and people in the comments can agree or disagree, but I think it's probably the weakest Premier League that we've had since we've been in there anyway, certainly. And I can kind of back that up if you allow me.
Yeah, go on then, quickly.
So you've got Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley that have come up, right? We're a better side than any of those 3. The 3 that came up last season, Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, you could argue that, we're ahead of the game with those 3 as well. You've got Everton and Wolves that are in desperate trouble. You've got West Ham and Brentford, who you could say we're on a par with, maybe West Ham. So I'm saying, right, well, that's 8, 9, 10 teams that should finish below us in the table this season. So, I'm looking upwards. I'm being really positive here. And if we do sign a decent striker like Balogun or, somebody that that's gonna score regular goals for us. I think could be a really, really strong season for us.
Good. Thanks, Ferg. Andrew Adams says Fergie's spot on. So you have a fan there. Teresa.
Yeah, you need to add Brighton into that list, Fergie, because they've just lost a lot of their biggest, strongest players.
I didn't want to swear, Teresa. Sorry.
Yeah, but I will swear. I don't care. I don't wine.
I hope Europe is their undoing. That's all I'm hoping.
So do
I think it might be.
On the South Coast. Nick, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Before I forget, Joe, I'm coming to you right now. I must touch base on our Instagram page run by the wonderful Tom Clark Samuel. He's doing previews on the Sheffield United game. You can find him at red_and_blue_review. Give him a follow, give him a like, or whatever you do on there. But go and have a look at some of the hard work he puts out on there each and every week for the love of it. So thank you, Tom, for all your hard work. We really appreciate it. Jill.
So much I wanted to talk about then. Going back to the Wilf bit, I'm with you, Ian. I'm a bit disappointed. I'm massively disappointed not that he's gone, because nothing is forever. But I thought he could have just done something more audio than just something that someone else wrote on a bit of paper and gave it to the club. I would have hoped that he could have just sat there and talked into a camera, because as much as he's been good for us, we've been good for him. But yeah, so it left a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a bitter taste, because he has been. I've been a critic of his when he's that I've listened to the way that he has slaughtered Waldy during games and thought, no matter if you're a man of God, you've got to get in that change room and fight him, or even have a go at him back on the pitch. But anyway, I'm glad that he's going to be happy. I don't think Galatasaray is going to be very good for him. It won't surprise me if he serves out one season and then goes out on loan somewhere else. I think I'll be surprised if he stays out there the inside contracts. But yeah, it does leave a, especially when he got the mural on the wall. I mean, is that actually still there, or is it gone already? I don't know.
I thought you might have painted over it, Joe. I thought you would have gone around there with a ladder or two.
No, because like I said, he owes us nothing. But I'm just a little bit like you say. I thought he might have just sat there on Instagram or on whatever and just released even 30 seconds. You know as well as I do, you guys, when you first started doing this, you can public speak, but 30 seconds will seem like an eternity if you're not very good at public speaking. But Wilf's had, been in front of cameras all his playing life, and he could have just sat there in front of his phone and just recorded. I was just a little bit disappointed with that.
Joe, I'm going to actually just give you something else to actually underline what you just said. Do you know what was more disappointing? I'll tell you what was more disappointing than the fact that he never released anything, and you're probably right. It was the fact that he actually released the clip of him on the plane on his way out to Turkey before he actually put his... Before he
oh
put
my
his
God, that's exactly what I was going to say, Nick.
Yeah, and I thought that
they released the clip. Galatasaray released the clip of him in the plane before, and it was at least an hour after that he sent the farewell message.
Exactly.
And
anyway.
I have no malice towards Zaha, and I wish him all the best, but I'm not sad he's gone.
Anyway, moving on. Keith has just asked in the chat who's going to Sheffield at the weekend. Please go. You won't miss him. But if you don't know Keith Diamond, okay, he's about, I don't know.
We've all got
15,
Paul Brister says one man who'll miss Wilf is Tarek Mitchell, who only played well, in his opinion, when Wilf was in front of him. Obviously, Tarek's injured as well at the moment, so hopefully he can pick up his game without Wilf. But I think, we're all sad that he went, but the way he went in the end, we're all saying now, okay, well, we're not too bothered, see you later. Let's move on. I think we ought to move on from Zaha, Nick. I think we ought to.
Yeah, I do. I'd like to cover, if you don't mind, the pre-season games that have just been and gone. And I'm not really a great lover of the pre-season thing. Oh, but before we go on to the pre-season games, I know a couple of you guys were at the ground for the Lyon game. What's going on with the Arthur fascia, and what's going on with the big jumbo screen TV? Any ideas?
Ferg, do you want to answer that? What you saw?
Well, I don't know what's going on with it, but there was just a blank space where the screen should have been. Yeah, so yeah, I'm expecting it to be there for the Arsenal game, hopefully. But I know on the so I don't know if it's true or not, but you know where the JD Sports was along the Arthur Way. I've heard that that's going to be an electronic screen all the way along. So it's going to be, they're going to just change the advertising constantly on that. So I mean that'll look quite impressive.
Well, they're just trying to do everything at once. The new jumbo screen and the electronic, sort of around about the same height, isn't it? So
yeah, I heard that. No, I heard that they were putting an electronic screen where underneath the gantry, where the red and blue fascia used to be, that Jason Whiteleaf has been campaigning for forever.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with it. I'd love to see that fascia back, to be
honest.
honest.
They're going to use it, I'll tell you now, they're going to use it as advertising space is what it's going to be.
Of course they are.
But just for Jason's benefit, I just hope that one day we go up there, there'll be an imitation broken clock in the middle, and red and blue stripes either side of it. Just for one game, it would amuse me. Anyway, Tuesday the 11th of July, Palace went down 1-0 to Barnet. On the 15th of July, we played Bromby. It was 2-2, Raksaki and Mateta scoring. On Wednesday, the 19th of July, we won 4-0 away at Crawley. I thought we played quite well in that game. Mateta scored twice, Eze and Amahada on the 24th minute. On Saturday, the 22nd of July, Palace beat Watford, or Twatford as we like to call them, with Edward scoring a couple. Thursday, the 27th of July, Ian, do you want to cover off the American games? Because you know more about them than I do. I didn't actually.
I've only seen the highlights. But in this game here against the Colombian side, Millionos or something like that they were called, we took the lead, didn't we? I think we went in front. Eze took a corner from the left, if I remember, and it was the young centre-back.
Jake O'Brien.
Jake O'Brien, who headed, he wasn't challenged. He headed in to make it 1-0. They equalised, and it looked like it was going to be 1-1. And then right at the death, they had a shot, and it just hit someone's hand. I think it was Jeffrey Schlopp. His arm in the penalty area. Referee couldn't give the penalty quick enough. We lost 2-1.
That was never a pen. Never a pen.
Now you watched it live, didn't you, Ferg?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, he turned his back and his hands were down by his. They were in a natural position. If they'd had VAR, that wouldn't have been given. But I don't know if it was something to do with the Colombia mafia. But
they love a result in America,
he was absolutely desperate to make sure they won that game. I mean, that tackle on Hughes as well. That could have been a red card. That was a scissor. He scythed him down.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because I've forgotten momentarily, but it was a terrible, terrible challenge, and you know how bad it was when Joel Ward reacted. I think he was captain. He went steaming into the player that fouled him, and we don't know how long Hughes is going to be out for. But Roy Hodgson was also livid, I think, at half time or full time with the player for what he did. It was totally unnecessary, but typical South American, I suppose you could say. T, you had your hand up.
No, you mentioned Jake O'Brien.
Oh, see.
The young lad. Oh my! I saw him at Crawley. I was just like, "Who is he? He is massive."
He's too young for you, darling. Too young for you.
Right.
I'm not like that.
And of course,
he's a big defensive unit, and I think he is one to watch for the future. He's a Jimmy Mack takeover.
And of course, we forgot to mention, of course, we also, on the 31st of July, played Sevilla and Eze scored in a 1-1 draw.
And Nick, before you go on, what a goal that was. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it back, but it was something else, wasn't it?
Super.
An absolute marvellous goal. Just gliding past 3 or 4 players. Superb.
And do you know what? After 15 minutes of Eze being on the park and Sevilla realising that he was just too good for them, they resorted to the same sort of tactics that Millionaires did. They were kicking lumps out of him.
I saw that actually.
He was just immense in that game. And the goal was just sublime, brilliant goal.
Jill?
And that's exactly what Sheffield United are going to do on Saturday. I'm absolutely guaranteeing it. As soon as he gets the ball, he will have one. What they'll do, instead of doing what they used to do at Wolves, they will put two on him to make sure that he cannot turn and go. Because once he turns and goes, he's gonna do one of two things. Either they're going to kick the absolute crap out of him and try and hurt him, or he will have the game of his life and make them look absolutely ridiculous.
Do you know what? Today on TalkSport, there was a Sheffield United fan on there, and he was saying that they've sold 4 or 5 of their best players that they had from the Championship, not replaced them, and he thinks that they're going to break Derby's points record in the Premier League. They're that poor at the moment, so if we don't win that one Saturday.
Okay, so finishing up on pre-season, the goal scorers: Raksaki got 1, Amahada got 1, Jake O'Brien got 1, Schluppy got 1, Eze got 2, Edward got 3, and Mateta got 3. So you could say arguably a very successful pre-season, but they don't mean as we know. Yeah. So anyway, right, ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land, I've got a little bit of homework for you because I've got prepared here, although I'm not going to do it because I'm conscious of the time. Quite a lot of stuff on the guys going out on loan and the ones that we've sold. Okay, the youngsters that we've sold. I've also got quite a lot on the ladies team. We've signed 1 or 2 very good players in the ladies team. Question for you out in Red and Blue Review land. Would you like us to continue keeping tabs on the ladies game? Would you like us to keep a tab on the loan watch and the kids watch? Okay, very simply in the chat for the next 2 minutes, yes or no. Okay, if you don't want us to do it, we'll drop the feature. But some people like it. I think it's a bit of a Marmite situation. The one most important thing to tell you about on the ladies' game is we've got a new head of women's football has been appointed, and we've also got a new ladies manager being appointed as well. And the most important news of all, there's the new head of women's football. Grace Williams has joined us. Have you got the manager as well? And there's the manager, but I can't. I've got it on my nose, but I can't remember her name. Both welcome to the club. The most important thing on the news on the women's game, of course, is they have moved. They're no longer playing at Hayes Lane in Bromley. They have moved to Gander Green Lane in Sutton. They're playing on the Sutton pitch, is my understanding. So easier for me to get to. But good luck for the season for all the kids that have gone out on loan, any of the former under 21s that we've sold, and of course, indeed, the ladies' game. So there are lots of people answering the question, and the majority vote in there is yes. There are some no's, but this is your show that we do it for you. We give up our time to give you the information that you want. Okay, so we will continue to do so. Going forward, then, so Sheffield away. Keith's already asking for people to come up and say hello to him. You can see him up there. I know Nobley's going up there on Saturday. I'm going up there as well. Here are our opening fixtures. We've got some very interesting games coming on. So on the 12th, it's Sheffield away. Okay, on the 21st, it's Arsenal at home. And then we've got Brentford away. 6 games there, 18 points available. So home to Wolves, away at Villa, home to Fulham. Some winnable games there for the start of the season. It's actually unusual for us. So this is September. Okay, I would like, please, ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land, your predictions, first of all, on its own for the Sheffield game, just a score, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, whatever it is you're going to go. And also your points tally, please, for the month of September. Okay, and we're going to, I'll tell you what, I showed you all something in the chat. Ian, just fill in for 10 seconds for me.
Fill in for 10 seconds on what? On predictions? Okay, so let's see what the panel think of the prediction for Saturday's game. Ladies first. T, what's the score going to be? You're muted.
Freezy, you're muted.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Ferg, what's the score going to be on Saturday?
2-0. 2-0 Palace.
2-0 Palace. Thank you. T, you're unmuted. What's the score going to be on Saturday?
3-1 Palace.
2-1. Gel?
3-1.
3-1, she said.
3-1. I'm going 2-0 as well. That's what I was thinking before. Ferg, you normally say 2-1. So we're all saying we're going to win the game. Well, great stuff. Nick, what about you?
I'm actually going to go with a draw. Score draw, opening game of the season. I'll settle for a point. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, so we've just asked you in the chat, please, for your points tally for September. Now, the rest of the panel don't know I'm going to do this. Hang
on. Do you mean August and September?
Yeah, for those 6 games that you had on.
Those 6 games. Okay.
Nigel, please keep a tally. Okay. So this ball is a signed football for from last season. As you can see, all the players on there. Ian, where did we pick this ball up from?
Oh, was this with the DSA thing, was it?
It was.
Sports Direct.
It was a Sports Direct. We went to the Disabled Supporters Association gala night at Sellers Park at the end of the season, and this is part of the raffle prize that I won. Okay, and I am happy to give it to the person that gets the closest to it. Now, how we'll actually end up transporting this to you once you've won it, okay, I have no idea. Either meet me by the ground at a home game or something like that will probably be the easiest. Certainly, obviously, it doesn't come in a presentation box, so I can't post it. So anybody that wants to win this, give me your entrance now before the close of the show in the next couple of minutes, and we will find a winner somehow. Okay, I don't know how, but we will find a winner. Nigel will collect the information for us. I know he will because he's good like that. And you can be the proud owner, and you'll probably find the Zaha's on it somewhere. It'll be one of his last signatures at the club, wouldn't it? Because obviously you went not long after that. So I know that Ferg's going. You're going from Saturday, aren't you, Ferg? Trees, are you going?
No, they're not going.
No, I didn't get a ticket.
Oh dear. Okay. Never mind. So, Ian, I'm going. I'm hoping it's going to be a hot, sunny summer's day. Why do I hope it's going to be a hot, sunny summer's day, Ian?
Well, the reason you hope it's going to be a hot, sunny summer's day is that you will not need a coat.
Yay! It's this game, isn't it?
Time we played Sheffield United away, you left your coat on the train, and you're still blaming me, but it's not my fault. It's your coat. You know, you got to take responsibility for it. And I'm disappointed. I sent Nigel a picture. I'm sure I sent it to him, but he's denying it, of you asleep on the train on the way back from that game. And I was hoping to show it on here, but I'm going to save it to Sunday. We'll get it. We'll find it and put it up.
Okay, standard. When I do an away game on the train, within an hour of us departing the station, I will be asleep. It won't be any different this Sunday. I will be asleep. I save my energy for the important thing, and that's cheering on the lads. Okay, right. Now, before we wrap up here, ladies and gentlemen, are you going, Jill? No, George is asking in the chat if you're going. Jill doesn't understand what a train is. There's no point asking. I'm not even going to.
Well, I wouldn't go by train anyway. I'd travel me out. No, okay. I'm not going. No.
Right,
10 points, by the way.
That's your prediction. Nigel will write that down. 10 points from Jill. Okay, and well, I was just about to do the season.
Right, before you move on, we've had a serious question in the chat. Chris Phillips has said, what is the best away day pub? Now, in the programme for the Lyon game, they said away day pubs, the Howard, the Globe, the Sheffield Tap, and the Rutland Arms. There you go. Chris, I expect you didn't expect me to answer that question. Best away day pub. Don't know which one we're going to yet, Nick, but we'll decide on the day. Yeah,
there is on that subject. If you go onto Grant's Eagles of Landia Facebook page, one of their pub landlords has actually. That was the Howard, was it?
Yeah.
Thank you. He has actually invited you up there and said you will all be very welcome. So maybe that's the answer. So thank you for your question. I appreciate that. Now, what we haven't done, everybody, is seasons predictions. We do this every year and make ourselves look fools. Okay, Jill normally goes 8th or 18th and all these usual rubbish. Okay, I would like to know your predictions for the league. Where do you think Crystal Palace Football Club will end this season? And I know it's really difficult because we've still got 2 weeks left of the transfer window. Where do you think we will end up? Your predictions, please, panel. Okay, and I'm going to kick off actually with Jill. And no, you can't have 8 at 18.
No. See, I need a caveat really, because I wish we could do this after the first game. And I'll tell you for why, because I think we'll have a couple of players, and it depends. If we don't sign anyone else, then I'm it's going to go 12. But if we do sign 2 players, if we get Hall, which is, I think we're going to get him, and we do get another forward, I think 8th. I do think 8th. And I take on board the point that, as was said earlier, that there are at least 6, 8, maybe 10 worse teams than us. So I genuinely think for the first time in many years that I'm stick my neck out and get looked at if I'm wrong. But I don't think we have any thoughts of relegation this year. Interesting.
Right. The other 3, if you hold your breath, I just want to give you some clues from the chat. Daniel says 7th. Ian Lyons says 11th on 46. Paul Bristow says 12th. Graham says 9th. Trevor says 10th. Jones says 13th. And 15th from Paul. Rob says 12th. Lots of 12s in there. Yaz says 8th. Good on you, Yaz. Okay. Right, Ferg, I'm coming to you next. Your predictions, please, for the league.
I'm with Joe. I'm going to go 8th. I think we could finish 8th comfortably. With the caveat that we do go out and sign a very, very good striker.
No caveats?
No. I'm going to go 8th. I'm going to go 8th.
I'll go 8th as well then.
Right, Joe's going to go 8th. Ian, I want to come to you last, actually, for a reason. Teresa, unmute yourself and tell me where you think we will end up this season.
4th. We're in Europe next season because it's so Palace. Because
if there's a war.
Oh my good God!
It's so Palace.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm optimistic.
For somebody that works in the NHS, I think the favourite expression was "just say no, Teresa. Stay off sniffing them bloody drugs."
No.
Mr. Noble, your thoughts, please.
Okay, what is the reason you wanted me to go last?
Because you're going to hate me when I do mine, and I just want to see.
Okay, right. Okay, I think Ferg and Joe, you're far too optimistic saying 8th, right? 9th. There you go. 9th. Simple.
Okay, I'm now going to do mine, and ladies and gentlemen, Ferg mentioned before the show, ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land, that he wants us. It's going to be great to have a nice positive show. I have to say, with the injury to Elise, okay, with the scumbags flying around over Anderson, over Elise, over Eze, I'm not convinced. And Roy Hodgson being reappointed, can he pull off the same magic that he did last year? Ready? You heard it here first, folks. Nick Philpott's prediction is 17th.
Seriously, Nick.
That's as laughable as Teresa's, that is.
Oh, my God.
I really think we could try, unless we get some decent players in the next 2 weeks and some decent signings in, where are we going to score the goals? Will we have the same defence? Okay, we've got ageing fullbacks in Klein and Ward. I don't think it's going to be as pretty as you lot think it's going to be. I think we're in for it.
Pretty. No
Nick
one
is
said
off
it's going to be pretty.
Rob's just said Nicky's off his meds. Okay. We'll see later to see how the season goes. Nice knowing you, Nick, says Keith. Yeah, I'm going to get slaughtered.
You just lost half the viewers from that podcast.
Good job.
I mean, Edward scores 14 goals this season as well, by the way.
Who?
Edward.
Okay.
If we're going crazy shit, I'm saying he scores 14.
And IU scores 7.
Who?
IU. Just for you, Joe.
Is he still playing for
it?
Oh, yeah, we've got IU playing as well. I forgot to mention him. Yeah. Ian Lyons is saying, I can see where Nick's coming from. But Fergie's right. There's lots of worse teams than us. And I honestly hope that I'm wrong. John Knox says, stop drinking, Nick. I think we're going to wrap it up for the night, okay, on that bombshell. One last thing. Ian, you wanted to do your little speciality.
Yeah, we haven't touched on a couple of things. We've got a couple of things going on. We have Fantasy Premier League,
And that's not
Red and
it,
Blue
right?
Review Fantasy League. And if you haven't joined yet, then do come and join us and play FPL. Even if you haven't played before, it's dead easy. The code is KOWR, Kilo Oscar Whiskey Romeo 89. It's there right in front of you. And we've got 200 people in this league already. So it's been a great response. And then Lucy has also organised Super Six, 6 predictions every week. Make sure you do them. Some of them midweek fixtures catch us out. So again, a great opportunity for you to do Super Six as well. So 2 competitions before the season starts, and we'll have a bit of fun along the way.
We will indeed. We will indeed. Now, can you put that? Yeah, I'm out of jail now. I'm still on Twitter at Nick Philpott 63. If you want to slate me for my prediction just now, go for it. Thank you. Nigel, what was that other slide you put up there? The team for Red and Blue Review this year. We've done a little bit of a lineup. I'm in goal. I think that is. Or was that Tim Richards in goal? I can't work that out. Aaron's going to be with us. Lucy will be there and thereabouts. Holyoke in midfield. I don't see him somehow as a box-to-box midfielder, ladies and gentlemen. Do you? Ian Noble keeping everything together like he always does. Teresa bombing it down on the left. Greg Ellis is also out there at the back. Of course, we've got Jim Cannon. Okay, Ferg, you're right back, mate. I hope you're okay with that. And Tim Richards is in goal. So that is our lineup for the year. I'm sure there'll be others. Hopefully, John Solarco and maybe even Julius Speroni will be joining us at some period of the year. Before we go, Joe, you got one more thing to say, and then I'm going to sign off.
Was Aaron on there?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll bell you soon.
Okay, I look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you. That's our lineup, but our lineup is not complete without you guys each and every Sunday night or whenever we do the show during the week. Don't forget, if we're playing on a Monday night, as we are on the Arsenal game, we'll be doing the show on the Tuesday. That's how it always works to allow us to get home and digest what's just happened. We want you to join us. Be there each and every week. The panel, thank you guys. Lovely to see you all. You out in Facebook land, please take good care. We will be back on Sunday the 13th of August at 8 o'clock, where we will be reviewing next weekend's game. On behalf of myself, Nick Philpott, and the rest of the team, take care. God bless. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.